In this lesson, we're going to be discussing assignment operators. Our lesson objectives: learn the different assignment operators, and then we're going to apply the different assignment operators to understand their meaning. So these are our 6 assignment operators that we're going to be discussing within the video. The first one, you've already seen a bunch of times. It's the basic assignment operator utilizing the equal sign. And that simply just assigns the value to x, or assigns the value to whatever variable you're declaring and accessing. So if I, let's say, declare integer x is equal to 2, but now I want it to equal 5, I'm going to use this declaration, or rather I'm going to use this assignment operator. Very easy. Right, so now when we move on and adding the plus sign next to it, then we have a different scenario. Now we're assigning a new value to the variable we want, but we're changing it up a little bit. So the plus equal emphasizes that we want to take the old value of x, or the old variable value, and then add the number that corresponds with it. So I have implemented 5 here within my statement. That is basically saying that I want the new value of x. The new value of x is going to be equal to the old value of x plus 5. So if this had 4, then it would be the old value of x plus 4. And this reasoning applies to the next 4 assignment operators. So with the subtraction assignment operator, what it does is that it takes the old value of x and then subtracts it from the number that you implement here. The multiplication assignment operator takes the old value of x and multiplies it by whatever number you have here. So if I have like integer x is equal to 2, and then I have this statement, what it does is that it accesses x. X is 2, 2 times 5 is 10, and then 10 is my new value that gets stored into x. The division assignment operator accesses the old value of x, then divides it by the number that we have here. So in this case, it would divide the old value of x with 5 to find the new value of x. And then finally, the modulus assignment operator. It takes or accesses the old value of x, or the old variable that we have, the old variable that we have, takes the modulus of the number that we implement. All right, so I know this is kind of confusing in a way, but it becomes clear when we go on to the compiler. So we're in our compiler, and let's test out every single assignment operator. The first one is the one that you've already seen, and that's the basic assignment operator. So we declare integer x is equal to, let's say, 5. But now we don't want integer x to be equal to 5, we want it to equal 7. So we utilize the assignment operator again. Right, now we've already declared the value of x, so we don't need to redeclare it again, we just need to access it. So we access it by utilizing the identifier, or the name of the variable. And when we access the name of the variable, we can change it, we can change the variable or the value that is stored within the variable utilizing the equal operator, equal assignment operator, and then the value that we want stored into x. So now x, when we access it, is no longer 5, it is now 7. Here is the print statement to show how the value has changed. And I'm going to put it in 2 different locations to show you the change. So when x is being accessed here, integer x is equal to 5. X has the value of 5. X has the value 5 stored within the memory that it has. So it's going to print out 5. But then we reassign x to have 7. So when it gets reaccessed again, it's going to print out 7. And it does it in that order. It goes from top to bottom. And as you can see, we have that change. Initially 5, and then the assignment operator changes it to 7. Now let's use the plus equal, or rather the addition assignment operator. So let's say we have integer x is equal to 5, and instead of assigning 7 to the new value, I want to add 7 to the old value. So I'm simply going to add the plus before the equal sign. And this is essentially saying, with my comment here, is that we want the new value of x to equal the old value of x plus I added a enter sign there, plus 7. This is basically the same thing as what we're writing here, but we're utilizing an assignment operator here, whereas we're just simply reassigning it to a new value. We're just accessing it and reassigning it. All right, so now we get 5 and 12 because it adds 7 to the old value. And you're not simply confined to just using these numerical integers. You can use a variable. For example, I'm going to declare a new variable and I'm going to call it 7, just for the sake of, simplicity. And I'm going to assign the value 7 into, 7. And instead of using the numerical integer for it, I'm going to utilize the identifier or the variable 7. And it's going to accomplish the same exact thing. But instead of utilizing a 7 directly, I can use a variable instead. And we get the same output. Now we could do the same thing, but with the subtraction assignment operator. So instead of, let's say, adding 7 to the old value of x, let's subtract 7. So it essentially is saying, I want the new value of x to equal the old value of x, subtract 7. So the old value of x is 5. So it's going to be like, all right, 5. Then what is 5 subtract 7? 5 subtract 7 is negative 2. So the new value of x is going to be negative 2. And then 5, the original one gets printed out because that's the original one is getting printed out in the second Java print statement, or the first print statement. And then the second print statement prints out the second value, or the reassigned value of x, and that is negative 2. We could also do the multiplication assignment operator. Now instead of saying, hey, I want x subtract 7, I want the old value of x to be 7 less than the old value, now we're multiplying it by 7. So basically we can rewrite it as the new value of x is equal to the old value of x times 7. So it's going to take the old value of x, which is 5, inputs 5 here, then it's going to times it by 7, and it's going to equal 35. And 35 gets assigned into x. So when we print out the first print statement, it's going to print out the new value. The old value. It's going to print out 5. But then the second print statement is going to print out the reassigned the reassigned value of x, which is 35. And there you go. We got 5 and 35. Now we could do division as well. And to help you with that, I'm going to combine it again with the multiplication assignment operator. So we know that the new value of x at this point is 35. So let's go back to 5. We want to go back to 5. So what would we need to do? Well, we would need to divide by 5. So it's essentially saying the new value of x is equal to the old value of x, and divide that by 5. Now that's going to get you 7. Now, but we want the old value over here, so we would need to divide by 7. So it's going to find the old value of x, which is 35, right? Because that is the reassigned one that we have here. That's our latest reassignment. It always takes the latest reassigned value. It doesn't go back to the original one. It goes to the latest reassign operator. So x equaling 35 is the newest. It's the latest reassigned one. But now we want to reassign it again, so it utilizes this value over here. Not this one, because that was the first one. We want the latest one. So it accesses the old value of x, which is 35. And then it divides it by 7, because we have 7 over here. And then it should return 5. So let's print out x again. All right. So it prints out the original value of the original value of x, which is 5. Then it multiplies it by 7, utilizing the multiplication assignment operator. And then when we divide it by 7, because we're dividing this value by 7, then it returns back to 5. And finally, let's work on modulus. Modulus is basically the remainder operator. So let's say if I want to get a remainder of 1. And the reason why we could do maybe a remainder of 1 is because when we divide it by 2, 2 fits into 5 2 times, because 2 times 2 is 4. So that gives us a remainder of 1. So in that case, we would rewrite it as a x modulus 2. Modulus is equal to 2. And this is essentially saying I want the old value of x, the new value of x to equal the old value of x modulus, I forgot the modulus sign, and 2. So the old value of x is now 5, because 35 divided by 7 is 5, so this becomes 5. Now it does 5 modulus 2. 2 fits into 5 2 times, because 2 times 2 is 4, and if we do it 3 times, it goes over, because 2 times 3 is 6. And we have a remainder of 1, because 5 subtract 4 is equal to 1. So when we print it out, we should have a remainder of 1. And there you go. It goes through the entire process, and we get the remainder of 1 at the end, because that is our, I guess, the final product of our modulus assignment operator. And that wraps up our video on assignment operators. I hope you enjoyed it, and please keep on coding.